Chad likes hot chicken.
I do like hot. That's like a guilty pleasure is like fried chicken is a legit, it's a guilty pleasure. I mean,
It's not good for you at all.
no, it's not
So
good.
it is guilty for
Man,
sure.
is that the case? I mean, people in that grew up in the Great Depression and they were eating fried chicken and working out on the farm and they were living forever. Now, I think part of the problem is that we're lazy, right?
Yeah.
You go eat fried chicken.
Burning less calories, right?
Yeah. You go eat fried chicken and you eat good country cooking and then you go sit in your recliner,
That's true. Very true. All right. So let's talk about winning organizations, right? That's why we're here today.
Yeah.
We want to shed some light and insight on, I think, what makes organizations tick, right?
Yep.
The good ones.
Yeah.
The winning ones.
Yep.
Right? Winning from a culture standpoint, a revenue standpoint, a wins and loss championship standpoint.
Yep.
Being number one in what they do overall, right? I think there's a few that come to mind, right, Chad?
Yeah.
In winning organizations?
Yeah. When we were talking about it the other day, talking about, hey, this is kind of a topic we want to discuss. You and I both threw some out there.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's easy to look at sports and you see the success there because it's on TV.
Yeah.
Right. Like
we like sports.
Part of a game. Yeah.
Right.
We like sports. You see those organizations and then in the business world, maybe sometimes it's not as glaring and then other times it is. It stares you right in the face or, right in your pocket sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
I know come to my mind, first and foremost is like who wins the most popular game of the year. And it's been the Chiefs the past couple of years.
You're speaking of the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think everybody thinks like it's the only championship that is literally Super Bowl Sunday.
Yeah. But it's on Sunday and we don't have the next day off of work.
Yeah. People can stay tuned.
Shouldn't it be Super Bowl Saturday?
Nah, I think it's still got to be played on Sunday, but I think the Monday's got to be a national holiday.
Yeah. I agree.
Right. Like that. When I run for political office, that's going to be part of my platform.
Mr. Mayor, Chad Meredith.
I'm past mayor.
Oh,
I don't think I can.
Too good for mayor? Got to be the governor?
No, I don't think you can get it passed as a national holiday if you're the mayor of a town. I think you got to go deeper than that.
That's true. President Chad
Maybe
Meredith.
I'm old enough.
You're getting there. Not yet.
Yeah. I think I'm old enough. 43, right?
Okay. Yeah, you're there.
Yeah.
I thought you had to be 80 now to be a president.
That must be the new rule.
Anyway, so the Chiefs. Chad, what do you think makes the Chiefs a top organization besides, in my opinion, having the best quarterback in the league?
So I started digging into a little bit of this, right? And you've got your outside view of what makes them successful. And it's really easy to look at players, right? It's easy to look at somebody like Patrick Mahomes and, being in the sales world for years, there's always this, you go to a sales kickoff and they're comparing their year to, championship football team years and, oh, you're the quarterback of this, and you're the quarterback of that. I think that's easy to look at, but you also look at I look at leadership there at the Chiefs and one of the constants is Andy Reid from a leadership standpoint. And it stands out to me that when Andy took that job, they fired their general manager, the Chiefs did, when they brought Andy Reid aboard in 2011, somewhere around 10 or 11. It's his first year there in Kansas City. And part of the deal is that Andy is responsible for all football decisions, like player related decisions. And if you look at these really successful organizations, I think a lot of times that's part of the puzzle, Like, I don't know if it's one less decision maker. I don't know if it's more continuity. I don't know. I think, there's 31 other teams in the NFL trying to figure this same thing out. Right.
Yeah.
But I think that's a direct factor in that maybe this leader, Andy Reid, knows what kind of players he wants.
Mm-hmm.
And I maybe think that may be more important than the physical. Obviously the physical is important, right? Like you can't take chicken doo-doo and make chicken salad out of it. But if you put the right players in the right situation, like what I think they do, it wins. And I think that correlates into business, no matter what kind of organization you're in.
Absolutely. I think my opinion is it comes from the top down above Andy Reid. I don't know a ton about the Chiefs organization, but I do know they have a very solid ownership group that cares. They want to win. They don't want to let the city of Kansas City and their fans down. They have a historic blue collar fan base that originates from the 60s.
Yes.
And we could speak for the Titans. They don't have that, right? They don't have that blue collar fan base that originated, 50 years ago.
I think if they were still the Oilers, they do.
And if they were in Houston.
Yeah.
Right? Because those don't carry over.
I thought about that same, like, ownership. Is it the ownership? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I would say that the Dallas Cowboys have an owner that's just as passionate about winning, right? Like, I think he wants to win at all costs, but they can't get their shit together.
He is, but is the Dallas Cowboy brand bigger than football?
Maybe.
Is the Kansas City Chiefs brand bigger than football?
No, I don't think it is.
There's your difference.
So I agree with you. I think there's something to that. While looking at the Chiefs, I think, like, okay, is it a coach? Like, is it the coach that makes the difference? Is it, two players that makes a difference? Is it all this? So I look at Andy Reid and Bill Belichick, and that's kind of the two, right, that stand out. If you're thinking about football coaches over the past 20 plus years. But did anybody feel this way about Andy Reid in Philadelphia?
I think the majority thought he was a really good coach in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
But he couldn't get over the hump.
Right.
Could he not get over the hump because of his leadership, the ownership?
Or did they tie his hands?
Or did they tie his hands?
Yeah. So I think it's interesting. Like, I don't know the right answer to that. I wish I did. Like, I think all of us could be more successful if we knew that recipe.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, they've figured out a way to put the right people in the right places, and they've got a great leader. They've got an ownership group that allows those people to do football stuff. Yeah. And then you look at other organizations, it's like they just can't get out of their own way.
True. Well, to me, as a business owner, it starts from the top down, but you have to have solid leaders at every level.
I agree.
And I think Andy Reid is a super solid coach. Patrick Mahomes is a great leader behind center.
Yep.
Right? And they have a lot of different pieces in the mix on defense, other offensive players that just bring it all together.
Yeah.
Solid. Yep. Super solid.
Yep. What was one of yours? Who are you thinking when you think business, like leaders, the way they do things is intriguing? Who would you see?
Business leaders or organizations?
Organization.
One that comes to mind for me, I would definitely say is Amazon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Amazon to me, they're not as old as the Chiefs as an organization, but they built from the ground up at the time the internet was getting started and solved a need for consumers to purchase things online, right? They did it the right way early on and grabbed huge market share. Jeff Bezos, I don't know Jeff as a leader. from what I've heard, he's been a solid leader, was a solid leader.
He's a smart dude.
Very smart dude, but he was more of the brains behind the scene.
Yeah.
Right. But when you think about winning organizations, you think about Amazon's competition that's coming into fold, right? You're seeing Walmart, Best Buy, all these other companies that were kind of behind from an e-commerce standpoint, and they're modeling themselves after the Amazon model.
It's completely reactive though, right?
It's reactive.
Yeah.
And so to me, Amazon's still the big elephant in the room, the big behemoth that you're trying to go after and just take a little bit of market share from.
Yeah.
And you think from like a customer service experience, ease of use experience, right? Even though we got to spend $100 a year or whatever it is for a Prime membership, you're going to pay for that because we've become accustomed to getting our packages at 7 a.m. the next morning or in 2 days.
Yeah.
Or whatever it is. And we don't go to the store anymore hardly.
Does it even, do you even think about that $100 though?
I don't, because, I feel like there's a lot extra value there, even though maybe I'm not using it. I have Prime TV.
Yeah. What do you watch on there? Thursday Night Football? Like, that's
about it.
That's about it.
I mean, occasionally movie, for the family or something.
There might be a movie.
There's actually a new Roadhouse movie on there that I want to see with Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to be any good, but
I heard it was trash.
Okay.
You'll have to report back.
Okay. Well, we should test that out. But so there's the movie thing, there's the storage, the free photos that you get with it, right? Which I use.
Yep, I do too.
So there's like 5 or 6 things that you get with that membership that makes you feel bought in and of value.
A little better about it.
A little better about it. Yes.
But I that's part of the puzzle that I think is like so intriguing is this you're basically, it's like Sam's, right? You're paying your Sam's Club membership, but like we don't think about that $100. Yeah. I don't know anybody that's like, I'm not spending this $100 because it's not worth it.
Yeah. You're saving money on gas. You think you're getting a discount on items, all those things, right? I think for Amazon, the other big thing for me that makes it a winning organization is they're heads and heels above most organizations when it comes to a support perspective, right? And what I mean by support is returning items and getting credits back, or chatting with their customer service and getting something resolved quicker than any other company I've dealt with from a chat perspective.
Yeah. And
so I think a lot of companies are modeling their support around them from a contact center perspective, right? And how they communicate with their customers.
No, I agree. 1,000% agree. Like I've even had items to return on Amazon and you just don't even have to return them.
Yeah.
Have you had that?
Yes.
Like you order something silly, something, $10 item. Like I ordered Baylor, some new grip tape for a bat. Ordered 2 different ones to see which one he preferred. Go to send back the one he didn't prefer. It's like $12. And they're like, here's your refund. Just keep that.
Absolutely. Because it costs them $15 for shipping.
Right.
To take it back.
It's kind of neat to,
and I love being able to return something and then I get a text message the same day or next day. Hey, your money's back in your account.
Here's your money.
And it's tremendous. Like I picture and think of Amazon as a winning organization. They not only have great prices, but they I want to say trap you into their ecosystem because they provide just an excellent service.
Spot on, 100% agree. It's about the ecosystem, kind of like the other one that I brought up that I sent you. They're like Apple. You get. I'm trapped in the ecosystem. I think you're pretty trapped to an extent in the ecosystem. I mean, we're both sitting here with an iPhone in our hand and an Apple Watch on, right?
Yeah, and I can't believe I bought an Apple Watch. Like I feel even more trapped. I don't know if I really need it, but
you don't need it.
It's like I'm kind of in the game of the fitness stuff and tracking that, and so I feel like I'm obligated to wear it now because of that.
But yeah, I think that's part of it, and I don't know. I think Steve Jobs was an unbelievable leader and like thought provoking and like technology at the forefront. But I don't even now, I'm sure Tim Cook is great, right? However, I think Jobs built such an unbelievable head of steam that it would have taken somebody like really bad to screw it up.
Yes.
You agree with that?
I agree. And I think their new leadership is doing just that. They're not screwing it up.
Right.
They're not being as innovative as Steve Jobs. One thing that they're doing great, or they have since Steve Jobs has left, is they become this global dynamite brand.
Yeah.
They've gone all over the world, in China and some other markets. Speaking of global, a little bit of useless information, Chad.
Oh, okay. Hit me with it.
Did you know that in our lifetime, we will have walked around the globe 6 to 7 times?
The average person?
The average person that doesn't live in the city.
So somebody in New York or San Francisco.
Maybe 12 times.
Yeah.
Yeah. Useless. Since we're talking globally, useless
completely
information.
Useless, but it should close your ring on your move goal for your Apple Watch, maybe, right?
Let me do that real quick.
You know, I think about that. You know, Apple as a company, as a platform. One of the things that intrigues me about them, and you and I both cut our teeth a little bit in the wireless industry, right? Like in cell phones. When I started in the wireless industry, we basically had one camera phone, you know, and I sat there and watched this. You know, you mentioned that there's not been as much innovation, right? Or like drastic changes. I think it's kind of neat to be the ages we are because we saw so many things change. You know, you and I were there before the internet, you know, before it got invented. We were around and cut our teeth in the business world when, you know, cell phones weren't necessarily a big thing. And now we're in technology and we rely on so many different things. It still amazes me what Apple has done with a phone.
Yeah.
And how reliant we are and what they've done with their competition. I mean, their competition is Android, right?
It was Microsoft, Android, even Amazon had a phone for a bit.
Yeah.
But yes, two. But it's two today.
Yeah. That's really the competition. There's no other, you know, there's no such thing as BlackBerry anymore, unfortunately. You know?
I know. Those were so great back in the day. The QWERTY keyboard.
Yeah. Palm was there. You know, probably the iPhone before the iPhone is what I've always said. But now you look at the market and there's two. And depending upon the numbers you look at, right, like it can be skewed. But Apple has a product, one product, the iPhone, that holds at least 50% of the market share, right?
Yeah.
And anybody can make an Android phone. You and I could decide tomorrow that we're going to have a NexGen phone and run the Android operating system.
With enough money, of course.
With enough money, right?
Yeah.
But you're just a little piece of the puzzle. And to know that this dominates like it does,
But that's the conversation that I think you have with a lot of people, like our technology guy, Matt. He doesn't want to be locked down to one platform. He wants an open platform.
Which I think is hilarious.
Right?
By the way.
So is Amazon's success because they have a lockdown platform? Or is it just because they're just that great of a company?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think
the lockdown platform means simple.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So that means our parents can handle an iPhone better than they could an Android device, maybe.
I think in a lot of ways they can. I mean, you know, I joke with Matt on occasions that I'm not going to text him because it's green.
Right. He's got the green bubble.
Yeah, I'm not texting you back. Like one of my best friends, if he's listening to it, John Park, if you're listening to John, get an iPhone because I'm tired of the green bubble.
Hey, I don't know if this is true because I'm married, but from what I hear, if you're a single dude, single girls don't want to message you or chat with you. They think you're weird if you have an Android because it's like a trust thing or something.
It's got to hold true.
You know what I mean?
It's got to hold true.
Would you know this?
I'm not a single dude. I'm not a single dude. I think Haley would.
Will, do you know anything about that?
It's definitely something that I've heard, like, it's a thing. It's definitely a thing. I don't know how many people like actually take it seriously, but it is definitely a thing.
So you would say that it's an iPhone thing, right? Like there is a large group of our population that has zero choice in their device that's in their hand, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I would say the average family is going to the Verizon store or online or AT&T, wherever, and they're just ordering their kid an iPhone by default.
Mm-hmm.
Will, what would you say percentage, like of your group of friends, is iPhone versus Android?
I'd say probably, I'd say 75%. And then also I looked up the green text thing, and it is definitely a thing. I think it's mostly a joke, but also people say like literally just the bright green on a white background is
It's
just
annoying.
not that aesthetically pleasing as a blue on white. It's just not as good.
You've heard
Yeah.
it here.
I 100% agree with that. Aesthetically pleasing. It's green. It just doesn't look good. Blue's more modern looking, right? And you can see when someone's messaging you.
Yeah, the little bubbles.
And you send now Apple has a lawsuit about this. I don't know if they're going to lose or win, but supposedly they're forcing people to go get an iPhone because of this shaming of you send a friend that has an Android phone, a photo or video, it doesn't come through full resolution. They're blocking that out, keeping it from happening, right? On purpose to make that percentage of population go get an iPhone because, hey, now I can send you full res photos and videos.
But you know, like that's the feelings. You know, I think you're provoking me now to get me to talk about the getting feelings hurt generation. Like, come on, man.
Yes.
Like, take a little ribbon. Like, it's okay that you have a green phone. I'm probably not going to text you.
Yeah. Well, it's different than the standard old SMS, MMS, right?
Yeah.
It's their technology.
You know, wait.
Back to why they're such a good company.
Yeah.
They create just great software and technology, and the hardware is kind of an afterthought, but they do make great hardware too.
It's the experience.
It's the experience.
It's 100%
They create a great experience. And if you've never had an Apple device and you're just team Android, then you don't get the experience. You don't know it.
You know, I think about like all of these tie-in because I know who your other company was, and I think you did it on purpose to like get me excited. But all of the companies or the organizations that we wanted to talk about, like that to me, it's not necessarily leadership or any of that the general public sees, but it's the experience. And I know when I go through the Chick-fil-A drive-through or do my pickup order at Chick-fil-A, the experience is just as good as the chicken.
100%.
It's not by mistake.
Yeah. But can they do something to fix the long lines?
I don't think the lines are ever a problem.
Well, speaking of Chick-fil-A, that they're a winning organization. That might be their only issue is the demand. And that they can't handle the demand at busy hours in markets because they don't put two stores in a single city.
Right beside each other?
Or right beside each other, which they could do it and they could kill it.
Yeah, I think they could. But you know, even to speak to not to like, you know, jump in the Chick-fil-A army with the Chick-fil-A badge on, but even at their worst, like the worst line at Chick-fil-A, it's managed better than 90% of the rest of the fast food restaurants out there.
Mm-hmm.
Like the line can be wrapped around the store, and I still feel like it's ran. I mean, my experience is that it's ran better than most others. you still feel like you're in and out just as quick.
I agree. And I love the touch point that you get outside a lot of times just to make you feel more welcome. To me, the reason why they're a winning organization is they again, back to these other companies, we didn't mention it with Apple on customer service, but they do offer a great experience too. But it's the experience that you get at Chick-fil-A. It's always going to be the same experience.
Yes.
You're always going to be met with a hello, have a great day.
No.
Not
have a great day.
No. Okay. I kind of feel like
say?
that.
What do they say? My pleasure.
My pleasure. Okay. You got me there.
Yeah, I mean, Chick-fil-A, my pleasure.
My pleasure.
Yeah.
But yes, the experience that you get at Chick-fil-A, the drive-through experience, the food is always the same and consistent. Everything is super consistent. The experience, the food,
the accuracy of the order.
You never not get your sauces.
Right. It's like
you never just get a little bitty strip of lettuce.
Yeah. And I think you and I we grew up when there was no such thing as, not in our area, there was no retail Chick-fil-A.
We had no Chick-fil-A growing up.
It was in the food court in the mall.
Was it even there back then in the day?
Yes.
Okay.
You don't remember they gave out chicken samples? They would have the tray.
Maybe that was like in the mid 90s, late 90s or something.
They would have even earlier.
Okay.
They would have the chicken tray out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they would have somebody stand there and they have a little fork.
That was Chick-fil-A?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
So they went from a mall food court company to now this huge retail restaurant chain.
I think around Atlanta, they had some retail locations, but their prominence was in food courts. But you also got to think, I mean, in 1993, mall traffic was unbelievable. You had to be in a mall.
Yeah. Tons of revenue back then.
It's different now, but yeah, that Chick-fil-A experience started in a food court.
Yeah. And I think one thing that comes to mind with the Chick-fil-A experience too is, their drive-through and logistics around the experience of getting your food is like no other fast food place.
Yeah.
The one in Hendersonville where we're based out of just went under construction to make changes
just to change the drive-through.
Just to change the drive-through. They added some covered areas, right? So their workers aren't getting wet going out and handing the food.
Yep.
Right. So that's a employee first thought, I think.
Yeah.
Before the customer. And speaking of construction, I got a dad joke for you.
Hit me with it.
How much does a roof cost?
How much does a roof cost? I don't know.
Nothing, because it's on the house.
Okay. Yep. That's a dad joke.
Jason's dad joke. But yeah, so going back to Chick-fil-A, again, we both agree they're a huge winning organization because of the customer experience, the consistency of what they do, right? I would go to a second level on that. I don't know how much you know about their leadership down in Georgia, but if you delve into their leadership, you know that everything is consistent from the top down.
Yes.
With Chick-fil-A.
Consistent message as well. Like
consistent message, the way they treat their employees, what they provide to their employees. It starts with the employees, right?
Yep.
You got to love to want to go to work. You got to feel wanted, and you have to be treated well.
Yep.
Right. And out of all the companies we talked about, I would say that probably Chick-fil-A might be at the top of that list.
I would say in America, they've got to be, I don't know, right? You can start picking it apart and this and that, but I think that's one of those pieces of the puzzle. Like if you look at all the organizations that we see that are like top of the mind, the Apple, the Amazon, the Chick-fil-A, any of those that are like, hey, I want to model my business after it. It starts with the employee. It starts with its customer experience. It's like the actual product is down the line.
Mm-hmm.
I actually think that's kind of why NexGen's successful is because we don't sell a product.
Yeah.
Like there's not really a NexGen product. It's about our people and what we do. Not that we're Chick-fil-A or Amazon.
Yeah, we're not selling a box with their logo on it. We're selling an experience, a consultative experience. And that's our number one priority, right?
Yeah.
To go along with, the other companies that are successful we talked about. I think if you're going to succeed in 2024 and beyond, you can't succeed with bad customer service.
No.
And the companies that continue to provide bad customer service over and over are going to continue to be devalued. If they're public, their stock price is going to stay consistent.
Yep.
Customer service is back.
Yeah, I think it's probably more important.
We had like a decade there, right? Or two of where bad customer service was accepted.
Yeah.
And I think we're past that.
I think the consumer has a bigger voice now than they ever have.
Yes. Because I can get in touch with these companies on Twitter or other Facebook Messenger, other ways, right? Or I can express my concern out to social media.
Yeah.
That's a huge part of it. I
for
think.
Better or worse. I think my stance on Facebook, right? Like it's whether you want somebody's opinion or not, it's going to be on there.
It's going to be on there.
Like
good or bad.
Good or bad.
Whether you want to see it or not.
Whether you want to see it or not, it's going to be on there. And the squeaky wheel, Yeah. Whether it's a valid complaint or a valid compliment, it's on there.
Yep.
And it's, whether that be Facebook or, well, I guess it's not Twitter anymore. It's X. Yeah. Wherever these things are posted, they get more traction than ever. Like when you and I were growing up, if you had a bad experience at McDonald's or wherever, I came to you and said, Jason, that sucked. They forgot my barbecue sauce. Well, the conversation died there. Mm-hmm. Well, now somebody posts it and it's there forever. If somebody posts, NexGen didn't do this on social somewhere, then it's there until somebody takes it down or screenshots it. It's the whole cancel culture thing it's not just canceling people, it's canceling companies.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So your people got to care. People got to be invested.
So people invested, employee experience, customer service being key, I think is another key to winning organization. Any other things top of mind? We talked about leadership, obviously from the top down.
But I almost think it's as much as I believe in top down. Mm-hmm. Almost believe it's also just important for it to be
maybe consistent message from the top down.
Consistent message from the top down, but maybe some of the best companies are ran from the bottom up. Because that's
investing in your employees and
that's the face. Like if you think about the football team, right? The Chiefs, the 49ers are in the Super Bowl. For all intents and purposes, the frontline workers are the players. Now they're making millions to play, but they're the product that we're seeing. We don't see the locker room necessarily. We don't see the trainers that go into it. We don't see all that. It's not public, but I would tell you that stuff is, if you talk to any organization worth its salt, I would say that stuff's just as important as the owner of the team, maybe more so.
Yeah. You have to make your employees feel capable and open to coming to you with conversations, right? From a leadership standpoint.
Yep. And
they have to feel like more than just a number.
Got to be empowered.
Got to be more than just a number. And in my opinion, from a leadership standpoint, you got to provide recognition and let them know that you care about them and that their hard work has been received and that they've done a great job.
Yeah.
Right. You got to let them know that.
I would agree with that. I think it's important to know what drives your people,
Absolutely.
right? Like you're going to have some people that could care less about the pat on the back, or, you know, some folks are just going to be motivated in different ways. And I think it's important to know what drives your folks, what's important to your folks. To actually know your people, I think is very important, especially in a small business. Like probably more important than a big company is, you know, you gotta know that this employee's, you know, kid is involved in, you know, whatever sport it may be, and that's important to them during this season of their life. And
just real conversations, get to know them.
It's about folks.
Yeah. Well, I think it's time for the podium.
Okay.
You ready to get into the podium?
I'm ready.
Every podcast, we're going to have a segment at the end, which is the NexGen Podium.
Yep.
Different thing every time, but we're going to rank anything and everything from a 1, 2, 3 standpoint, right? Yep. So think of a podium 3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
Today, we're going to rank the top fast food burger joints.
You want to go back and forth, starting at the bottom, third place?
Well, we're going to have our own opinion on this, and we're going to have to get to a 1, 2, 3, right?
No, but I want...
You want me to go third place?
You're going to have your 3, and I'm going to have my 3. So,
okay,
who's third place?
Okay, so if I'm wanting to get a good solid burger, maybe not the top of my list, but I'm hungry. I want something that's pretty decent and solid, substantial. I'm probably going to have to go with, if we had In-N-Out Burger here, which it's coming, I would go with that
for 3.
But I'm going to have to go Whataburger.
Okay, so Whataburger is edging out In-N-Out on your list.
Only because I can't have In-N-Out today
on a regular basis.
Okay. Yep. And I know Whataburger, it's not number 1 for sure, but they do have a good solid burger.
Okay.
That would be number 3.
Okay. That's fine.
Do you agree with that?
I'm not a big Whataburger.
Or do you think it should be higher?
Unless Whataburger is wanting to sponsor the podcast. Okay. I'm not a big Whataburger fan.
Okay.
But I mean, if
they just nixed the chance.
Yeah, I mean, if they were wanting to throw me some influencer dollars or something, then maybe my opinion changes.
I mean, I'm not a huge fast food person myself.
I'm not either. That's why this is hard.
It is hard for me too, because I'm not a drive-through kind of person. I'm not a fast food, except for Chick-fil-A.
Yeah,
but I know that their burger is decently solid. If I'm in a pinch and it's the only place around, I'm going to go to Whataburger to get a burger.
Yeah. My 3 is a little different.
Okay.
Third place for me, and this is probably because my son would absolutely put this top 3. And it's a little bit of nostalgia for me, because I think, like, growing up, it's where I would have wanted to go get a burger. Like, that would have been my pick, you know, back in the day. And it would be Wendy's. Dave's Double.
That's a good number 3.
Yeah, Wendy's, man.
Yeah.
Like, I've not had a Wendy's burger in a minute, but solid fast food burger. Like,
yes,
I would be okay with eating a Wendy's burger for dinner.
Okay.
Not to mention they have a Frosty also.
Yeah.
So a Frosty.
Their chicken sandwiches are good too, but we're not talking chicken.
I'm not getting a chicken sandwich at Wendy's.
Their spicy chicken sandwich isn't bad.
I'm not getting that. I'm not getting a chicken sandwich.
I know, you're going to Chick-fil-A for that.
Yeah, well, we're going to have a whole episode at some point about introducing Will to fried chicken. So we're going to go.
Yes.
Will and I are going to go eat fried chicken for 2 days straight or something.
All right, so I got Whataburger. You have Wendy's.
Yeah.
At number 3.
Yeah.
That's a good number 3. Very solid. So number 2 on the list. For me, kind of the same vibe as Whataburger, but the reason why I'm going to put this as number 2 is because it goes back more to childhood, I would say.
Crystals.
And Crystals used to be pretty dang good.
Man, Crystals at 1 a.m.
Yes. With the chili cheese packets.
Oh, what are you talking about?
Yeah. No. So My number 2, I would say, would be Sonic.
Sonic
I've always been a fan of a Sonic burger,
a State Fair burger.
of a Sonic burger and tater tots.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we're not talking tater tots today, but Whataburger and Sonic are very similar to me, and I like that kind of burger that with everything on it, and just a bigger solid burger.
Like a double, like a
Yeah. And they're very similar, and I like that style. So that's why I'm going with Sonic
I
as
did
number
not
2.
have Sonic on my bingo card. I would have not. That's not what I would have picked. I wouldn't have thought were going to pick Sonic.
Yeah, Sonic.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, I'm good with that. I think Sonic is maybe a guilty pleasure.
Definitely a guilty pleasure.
Like nothing on their menu is good for you.
Nope.
Unless you want to sponsor us, Sonic, then I will talk about how good for you the menu is.
I mean, hey, their drink menu, like their happy hour, if you're into that kind of stuff.
Order on the app.
Yep.
Order on the app, half price all day.
Yes.
I can get on board with Sonic. I have a guilty pleasure at Sonic, but it's not a burger. It's a chili cheese coney.
I know. That's why. See, I go for that stuff.
You get the chili cheese coney too, don't you?
Not every time.
Oh, it's so good.
But I like that. I like the chili and cheese that they have, and then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get a burger, and I'm gonna get chili cheese tots or something.
Yes, it's so terrible for you.
It is.
But it's
I literally will have that maybe once or twice a year.
Yeah, I don't mind that pick for you.
Okay.
I don't. I don't think it's number 2, but I can see
it's
why.
my number 2.
Yeah, I can see why.
What's your number 2?
My number 2 is probably a sleeper for most folks. And if anybody listening has not had a burger from this place, I would urge you to get one.
Mm-hmm.
You probably have to go to a location that's pretty busy, because sometimes they can be slower during lunch hours, and maybe not on their game as much. If you've not tried a Hardee's burger,
Mm-hmm.
it is a legit cheeseburger. I mean, West Coast friends would call it Carl's Jr.,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah, they still go by Carl's Jr. on the West Coast and
Yeah,
Hardee's on the East
yeah.
Coast.
I would, most folks here are probably not going there for lunch. Or dinner. They're gonna go and grab a sausage biscuit or gravy biscuit for breakfast, and then forget about Hardee's. But
They're known as a breakfast place in the South.
they are.
Yeah.
That burger is a sleeper. Like,
Yeah.
really good burger.
Yep.
Yeah.
So to pick up on that, I had Hardee's as a close second. I was thinking about him
Okay.
as a second, but I didn't pick him. Although I do agree with you, it is a sleeper. For me, number 1 is probably going to be Culver's.
Okay.
So I'm choosing Culver's as the top.
Yep.
And I'm going with that just because it's a super solid burger. I think it's a little bit higher quality,
Yes.
and over top of the other ones that I mentioned. And it is solid. And there's other good things at Culver's too, like their ice cream and whatnot, but
Custard.
It's
so good.
but I do like a I wouldn't say I love it, but I do like a Culver's burger.
It's good.
It's good.
Like, it's a smash burger.
Yeah.
It's good.
It's like a smash burger for a fast food place. And I like smash burgers. I like cooking smash burgers on the Blackstone.
Yes.
That's my style.
I think that's a good choice.
Yeah.
It actually very much aligns with my number 1 choice.
Yeah.
This was really hard for me. And the reason that it's not fair, right? I can't do this, but I think I have a tie for number 1.
Okay.
Culver's is right there, is my 1A or half of my number 1.
Yeah.
And then Freddy's
Okay.
is right there. Look, Will's giving me the what is Freddy's.
I've never had Freddy's either.
I can't even think of what their sign looks like. What is Freddy's?
Yeah. So Freddy's is basically Culver's. They're both from the Midwest. They both have Culver's has become a little more popular here. They're more aggressive at putting retail locations, but I think Will's going to take a look at Freddy's right now, like Red Sign.
I've never seen this place in my life.
I've seen it before, but being that it's one that I can't have day to day,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have it on my list, but I get why you would put it on there.
Yeah. So there's two locations that are close enough that I would have them on there's one in Bowling Green.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's close enough. Well,
Yeah.
we're gonna have to get the listeners' opinions on Freddy's.
Yeah.
Freddy's what YS?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Never had it before. Give us your opinion on
is.
Freddy's.
Yeah. So basically the difference in the two restaurants to me is their fries. And I don't love either restaurant's fries, which is not anything to do with their burger.
Yeah. I'm picky about my fries.
I don't like either one of their fries. I don't love Culver's fries.
Yeah.
I don't love Freddy's fries. Freddy's are like shoestring style fries.
I like shoestrings.
Freddy's would go to
crispy
number one
shoestrings.
for you.
Oh, dang. I got to try Freddy's.
Yeah. The burgers are very, very similar. Freddy's does have like the seasoning salt for the fries and put a little seasoning salt on the burger. Freddy's is probably number one for me, but because it's not as readily available, I would have to say Culver's.
Okay.
I know that's not fair to pick two number ones, but they're both so similar. They're like, if you didn't know, you would think.
Okay,
it's kind of the same.
if they were side by side and you could walk into either one, which one are you picking?
I'm probably walking into Freddy's.
Okay, Freddy's number one.
Yeah.
All right, that rounds up our top 3 podium pick.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Thank you guys for listening today. Appreciate it. Until next episode,
Yeah. Thank you guys.
we're signing off.
Yep.